All right, welcome everybody. I'm Scott Patton, the Dean of Blogonomics and Podology. This is Patton's Power Podcasters Hour. Thank you very much, Lane Snyder, for the suggestion. I posted up one of my Hangouts the other day, and he came up with that. He says, well, this is a great name for you, and I liked it, so we're going to use it. And I'm very, very excited today because I have a repeat guest. We had such good response last time, and everybody just loved him, and I really enjoy talking with him, so I asked him if he would join us again, and he said yes. So it's I'm pretty happy about that. He's got a number of courses online that are doing really, really well. He deals predominantly with local businesses, and he helps local business market themselves online and probably offline. He's a professional photographer, and he's turning into a really, really good friend. So I want to welcome Mark Timberlake to the show. Hey, Mark, how are you doing today?
Hey, Scott, thanks for having me. Yeah, it's good. Obviously, I'm in cold England, and you're in sunny Hawaii today, so there's a little bit of jealousy going on here, I must admit. But yeah, it's great to be back on the show, Scott.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but I have to tell you, the sun sets about 6:30, and it's gorgeous because I'm on the north shore of Hawaii. So when it goes down, it goes into the ocean. And the other day, it was one of these and I was driving and I couldn't find a place to pull off. It was one of those movie scenes where the sun is shimmering over the ocean and it's just huge, right? And sunk into the water. It was gorgeous. And then the other day, there's a sailor's legend about sometimes when the sun sets, there's a green flash. And so the first night I was here, my friend and I were sitting by the beach with it was a group of us, and they said, watch the sun, because there can be this green flash. And so we watched, and there was this green flash. Now, it's not a big flash or anything like that. It's just, but all of a sudden, it's green, and then it disappears. And my buddy says, I've seen that twice before in all the years that I've been in Hawaii watching sunsets. So pretty special. But what I like about it the best is when the sun goes down, it's not freezing cold like it is at home. It's like, oh, it's still warm. I can be out without wearing a parka or something. And so I'm really enjoying my 2 weeks here.
I think we get very similar weather, don't we, Canada and England? I think we get that sort of, Canada's a bit more beautiful, I think, but we get that similar. Well, it's very grey here at the moment, so it's like grey all the time. But it'll work.
Well, Vancouver, where I live, is very green, but this time of year, you're right, it's just always cloudy and socked in and raining and pretty miserable. The rest of Canada can be sunny, but it's minus 30 or minus 40. In fact, a friend of mine who just took my course, actually, and emailed me to say he left a review, said, I'm in Saskatoon, which is right in the center of Canada, and it's minus 40. And then he swore at me a little bit.
That's cold.
That's cold. Yeah. So, all right. Well, we want to talk about Google+. And one of the reasons why I want to talk about Google+ is the fact, first of all, you're an expert on it, and I want to know how we should use it. And you have a course on it, so you're not going to give away all your secrets, because I really think I've taken the course, I've reviewed the course. It's an awesome course. I keep going back to the course looking for stuff. But I've noticed in a few of the social media circles that I'm in, a similar theme coming up, which blows my mind, actually, and this creates a huge opportunity for anybody listening to this, and that is Google+ is a wasteland. Nobody is using it. Now, I happen to go online and read articles by authorities in different areas, and they say Google+ is the #2 social network after Facebook in the world, with over 500 million members. So how it can be a wasteland with 500 million members, I don't know. But I think this is a great place to start, because where do you put your time and energy? We only have 24 hours in a day, and should it be, doing a little marketing stuff on Facebook or Twitter or Google+? So I think that's one thing I want to see if we can address. And the other thing is, Is it really this wasteland that, fortunately, perhaps for you and I, a lot of people are saying that it is?
Okay, I'll just do the second one real quick, but we'll come back to that. I've got nearly 6,000 followers on Google Plus, so I don't, and I'm not got an extra. I've got quite a niche subject, so to have 6,500 followers, that tells you something straight away.
Okay, so the other thing that tells me is there's not a $5,000 limit like there can be on Facebook.
No, you can have, a lot of people out there. There's people out there with, 750,000 followers on Google Plus. So when you start really looking at it, but coming back to why people use Google Plus, I'm actually going to go back a step, Scott, if that's okay, and explain something that's.
Sure.
There's from a marketing perspective, there's two ways to actually find new clients, and everybody essentially is trying to find new clients. That's, as a business, we're trying to find new clients. That's where the energy goes into a lot of the time. That's what marketing should be going into. Yes, looking after current clients, but you're always looking for new clients. There's two ways to find a client. One is to go out, speak to 1,000 people, and hope that 2 or 3 of those people, depending on the value of your product, but typically if you're offering services, that 2, 3, 4, 5 people will say, yes, I want your product. So what you have to do is you go to a lot of unqualified people and you're trying to get clients. And you're working very hard. The other way of marketing is to position yourself in the marketplace so that when someone is looking for your types of services, they can find you. Now, that means that pre-qualified people are coming to you when they've found you. So they're coming to you because they've found you, they've got a problem. So they're already gone past the persuasion moment. They've already gone past that difficult, when you're going out to people and saying, buy my services, and they're like, why do I need your services? That's a hard sell. But when you've got your marketing and you go out there and you say, and you just put yourself in the marketplace and you make sure that when someone's looking for you, they can find you, that's an easy sell. So how does that relate to Google Plus? Well, Google Plus is the only social media platform that is indexed by Google. So that means it's the only place where you can put content on, it's going to get indexed, and it's got the chance of showing in search. Everything that happens on Facebook, I'm going to mention Twitter in a minute because there's some interesting news just come out and people have already got misconceptions about what's happening between Google and Twitter. But everything you put on Facebook is behind a brick wall. Nobody can see it. So the search engines can't see it. So that means when you're marketing on Facebook, what you have to do is you have to keep presenting yourself over and over again. You have to keep talking to lots of people, trying to find the people that's interested because they cannot find you. But when you put stuff on Google Plus, it appears in Google search, and when people are looking, they can find you, they can track back. So now every time you put a piece of content out there on Google Plus, that piece of content is discoverable forever. So you put it out there once, like, put a podcast or, YouTube video. If you put that out, index that through Google Plus, share it on Google Plus, you're going to get some extra indexing going on there. It's going to see the linking. That goes out into search. Now that sits there. So let's say you get a video, you do a short video on YouTube, and the first time you put it out, you get 30 views, and you think, oh, that wasn't very good. But it's indexed in search. And then over the course of a year, you notice, and the next day you get 3 visitors, and the day after that you get 1 visitor. Now, you think, I'm only getting 1 visitor a day. Let's take that over a year. That one piece of content now has brought 365 qualified people to your website, because obviously you're going to link back.
Right.
So that's the difference. So when we use Google Plus, we're always playing the long game. We're playing the SEO game. We're making sure we're putting content in search, and we're using Google Plus to get that index. So when someone comes looking for us, they find us. That's why we use Google Plus. Now, you'll see. I don't do it.
I got to jump in just for a second because I have a real life example of exactly what you're talking about in terms of Google Plus. Because when we post a video, there's a little option there you can check Google Plus. So I do. It's automatically checked, and this video, for example, will appear on my Google Plus profile page. And I did a search on, like I use keywords in the title of the Hangout, right? And so after, this is about 2 weeks ago, I did a search on the keyword, and I don't know, there was like 10 million results, and I was expecting, because my whole purpose was to get my YouTube video ranked for this keyword, and I was expecting the YouTube video to be there, and to my surprise, it was not. The Google Plus post was there instead. So I thought, well, that's really interesting. And I went back a couple weeks later. It's so far still been there. And so you're right. By using the Google Plus, I was able to rank for a term that I would otherwise not be ranking for right now.
But what's really important, Scott, is you're using it within the context of content marketing. So Google Plus works really well when you do good content marketing. So people that don't want to do content marketing, that just want to say sell, sell, sell all the time, you know, go to Twitter. That's what Twitter's for. But if you want to do good content marketing, Google Plus is going to index instantly. And if you do video content as well, because that's owned by YouTube, and what you just did, you linked the two, because they're both indexed instantly, and that's what's really interesting, because we develop websites. Part of what we do at SME Heroes, we don't do websites, we do marketing packages, and part of that marketing package will be website development around a marketing strategy. Now, to get a web page indexed, even if you're the greatest SEO guy in the world, to get it indexed, you're really talking 3 to 6 months, if you're good, before that can start getting on the front page. Now, some guys out there, they're absolutely fantastic, and they'll go and write articles, different depth articles, and all the rest of it. They'll do great SEO, and maybe they can do it in 6 to 8 weeks. When you put a Google Plus post in, or a YouTube video, that is indexed instantly. So that means that you can create a blog post, link it to Google Plus, and because your Google Plus post is indexed instantly, do you know what that means? Your blog post has just been indexed and caught along with it. And when people find it, they'll find the Google Plus post. So that's why you use Google Plus. Now, if you're not doing content marketing, if you're not putting good quality content out there, and you're trying to use Google Plus like Twitter, never work. And that's where people fall down. That's where they fall down.
So, Mark, how often do you think someone should post on Google Plus?
Depends what they're trying to achieve, what level of followers they are. But you want to be on there daily. You want to be on there daily. You know, if you're going to commit to Google Plus, use it properly. You know, try and get half hour a day on there. And then what I do is I then filter all my Google Plus posts, then go automatically to Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. So I don't duplicate my work. So I publish on Google Plus, and then that spreads, and I use a program called Friends Plus Me, and that then diffuses to all my other channels. That's Friends Plus Me. And I can set that up, and that sends all of my content to the other channels. So then every day, what am I doing? I'm predominantly doing Google Plus, but I will check my other channels because I need to make sure that people are, if they're responding, I've caught it. And also, of course, there's software like Hootsuite if you want to, go to the really high level.
I actually am trying Hootsuite right now, and I have to say that you need to be a rocket scientist to understand it at all. And I'm I just like, oh my goodness, like, do I really want to learn this? But I think you're right. I think it's important that we sit down and we say, okay, like, what's our plan? Because I'm actually going through what I used to do was actually probably what I still am set up to do is I post on Twitter and it shows up in LinkedIn and Facebook. And I don't really like that because I'm limited in the amount of posts that I can make. I mean, the length of my posts that I can make in Twitter. And I'd rather have a little bit more than 150 characters going out. I'd rather it went the other way. And but I'm also looking at a way of just how I can just simplify the system. So right now I'm actually like trying to draw out a mind map of if I do this and this and this and this and this, and what type of content marketing do I want to do. And that's one question I wanted to ask you, if you could give us a definition of what content marketing is for you. just so we're all kind of on the same page as to what that is.
Content marketing is the principle of putting out free, useful, and relevant content that your niche target audience values and you can use to bring them back to your website. So let me explain that. So let's just take a simple blog post, 10 steps on how to wax your car. Okay, so 10 steps. You put a blog post, 10 steps. You then share that to social media with a headline that says 1, 2, 3. Rest of the steps on the blog. That's essentially content marketing, and then we can talk about calls to action, sales funnel when they hit the website, and all the rest of it. But content marketing is creating content that people will value enough to come and visit now they're on your website.
I see. Okay.
Now, I know people describe it slightly differently, but and it's a little bit more than that, but that's easy for people to understand. We use
so we're really talking about just bait, right? It's like, you know, you want to get the chicken or whatever, and you just put the seeds along, and the chicken goes along until it finally gets into the blog page and reads the blog and gets the rest of the seeds.
Absolutely. See, when you first start with a website, it's got no ranking whatsoever. Now, what a lot of people will do, they'll try and build backlinks. And as soon as you start creating artificial backlinks, Google's going to catch you and penalize you and going to shut you down. They're so good at it now. A lot of the internet marketers that have been out there for a long time, they're all saying, got to stop doing this now because I keep getting caught. Do you get me? And I keep getting my website shut down. So Google are really good at that. One of the other strong metrics for a website is traffic. When Google see lots of people come into your website, then they're going to lift you a little bit higher in search because now they're thinking this is valuable content. People are going here on this subject. So we need to get that traffic up. And we do that by literally taking one person at a time at the beginning and bringing them back to our website, grabbing another person, bring them back, grab another person, bring them back. There's more to it than that because we want to actually capture the details when they're on the website. But just at this most basic level, it is about getting people on there and getting the traffic running.
Perfect. Great. That's a great explanation for it. And I have to admit, I've learned something because it never really occurred to me, like, oh yeah, write a post and then give away a little bit of the post on social media, and here's the rest of it. Go here.
In fact, we call that short tail content at SME Heroes. And then when you understand that concept, now you know how to use Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn Pulse is indexed at the moment. Now, Twitter, there's a big thing like Google and Twitter have made up, and now Google's going to be Twitter indexing all the tweets, and you'll see that going around. Actually, Stone Temple Consultant have done a study on this already, and about 8% of tweets will probably get indexed, and they'll be from certain accounts. And we're talking accounts with 1 million followers. Do you get me?
Yes.
So a lot of people are already saying, oh, I'm going to use Twitter for SEO. It ain't going to work. Forget it. It's not going to work. What you can use those platforms, though, is traffic generators. So now what we're trying to do, we want to get someone off Twitter onto our website, off Facebook onto our website. You see, if we spend all our time on Facebook building content there, it does nothing for us.
Right.
Oh, and that was the thing with Twitter as well. So everything on there, like I was saying earlier, everything on there is not indexed. So, it's got no long-term value. So when I put stuff out, I'm going to put it on Google+, and I'm going to spread it to those other channels. I'm getting the indexing on Google+. I'm getting people traveling back from my channels. It takes time to build up a following, and I haven't got a great following on Facebook, Twitter, because I just allow that to organically grow. I concentrate on Google Plus because I know where the value is. The most important thing to understand, though, about Google Plus, and it comes back to a point you stated earlier, Scott, and this is one of the greatest misconceptions. It's a ghost town. Okay. Now, when I say to people, your business needs to be on Google Plus, if you're going to have a content marketing strategy, if not, don't bother. Use AdWords, seriously. But if your business is on Google Plus, and they'll say, my client isn't on Google Plus. Here's the thing. Is your client using Google search. If your client is using Google search, then you need to be on Google Plus, because your Google Plus activity will impact Google search.
Right.
And that's what
Right.
people don't get. So they, oh, my client's on Facebook or is on Twitter, on LinkedIn. That might be true, but are they on Google search? And remember, it comes back to that point earlier we said about finding qualified, targeted people. And the way I call it is, the way I look at it is like this, two ways of describing it. It's like you're taking little flowers, and I know you're familiar with this concept, Scott. It's like taking little flowers in a field. If you've got one flower, one piece of content in search, how many bees are you going to get to that flower? But if you've got a field of flowers, you're constantly putting out little bits of content. You need to do this for about a year before you start seeing you can ease off on the content. So do it for about a year. But once you've put that, and people, they slow down at that because they want results tomorrow. It ain't going to happen on the internet. You don't get results next day. You have to put the work in. So you've got all those flowers. Now, how many bees are going to come to those flowers? And the other way I've described it, which people like, is like this. When you create a piece of content that's niche, valuable, and useful and relevant to the person who actually wants to find it, and you stick it on the internet, he's like a soldier. And this soldier never sleeps. He's awake 24/7, 365 days a year. And anytime someone comes near him, he grabs him and drags him back to your website.
Mm.
And then when you start thinking of content like that, you will start putting content out there all the time, and you'll think of ways of doing it and targeting niche keywords and stuff. And when you get that, and when you understand that Google Plus makes that magic happen, you have no difficulty understanding why you're on Google Plus.
Right. So you're really talking about making your site an authority in your field. Like, if you want to know something, go to Scott's site, go to Mark's site, because they're gonna talk to you about whatever
Absolutely, it's about what it is. First of all, you've got to transmit your expertise. One of the things with social media we teach in our social media course, marketing course, is that when someone comes and follows Scott because he's a power for podcasting, if Scott starts putting in his stream every day. And hopefully you haven't done this today, Scott, so I'm not getting in trouble. But if you're putting a fluffy kitten pic in your stream, it's the analogies like this. Okay, so it's the weekend. Okay, the wife's gone shopping, or maybe the husband. The wife's gone shopping. The kids are outside playing with the dog, and you're sitting there, and you've got a cup of tea, and you've got your biscuit, and you've got your monthly copy of Train Spotters Monthly. Okay. And you open up that Train Spotters Monthly, and what you see is, and you're relaxed. Your hard week. This is your highlight. If you ever subscribe to a magazine, you know what this feels like. And you're sitting there and you're thinking, oh yes, let's just see brilliant. For me, it's photography. That's what I love, photography. But this is brilliant. Let me sit down. Let me relax. Let me have a look. And you open it up, and it says 10 fashion tips for autumn on one page, and on the next page, 10 greatest World Cup goals of all time. Okay, what are you gonna do about that subscription?
Yeah, it's gone. It's
gone. And when someone follows you on Google Plus, you have to, even to the point of boring people to death, you have to be talking about your expertise and associating, connecting with other people in your area or making relationships. Because when someone follows you at this sort of level, when they're following you, they're saying, you're an expert, I want your content. And then when you start giving them fluffy cat pics or what coffee you had for this morning, don't get me wrong, I'm overemphasizing. There's nothing wrong with saying I've been out, I've done this today. Do you get me? I want to know you're in Hawaii. That's great. But if you're just filling my stream all day, and I'm a train spotter, and all you're filling my stream all day is, fashion tips and football scores, I'm going to get annoyed very quick, and you're going to lose me. So that's one of the things with social media marketing in general, is when you communicate expertise, people will sign up to that expertise. They'll subscribe to your magazine, but you must keep giving them the content they subscribe for.
Yeah, you've brought up a really interesting issue, because I use Google Plus quite a bit differently than I use Facebook. Facebook, about 3,700 friends on Facebook, and there are definitely different groups that are totally exclusive and totally different topics. But they're just things that I'm personally interested in. So, great, you like what I'm saying about SEO or podcasting, you don't like what I'm saying about the Vancouver Canucks and the way they play hockey. You kind of get it all mushed together. And I didn't really, you're the reason that I have the presence on Google Plus that I have now, because I've taken your course and we've known each other, and you've been a strong influence in that area. And I'm really careful about what I post on Google Plus, because I'm thinking, well, I want this group, and they're probably not interested in the Vancouver Canucks because they live in New York and England and South America and all over. So I've been really cognizant of being focused on my Google Plus page. So I guess part of my question is is there a way with Google Plus that I can be kind of talking the business stuff, but I can also be like social and say, have a group of people that are following the Vancouver Canucks and kind of keep that separate?
Absolutely. On Google Plus, you've got circles. And what that means is you can have a group of friends over here that are, into ice hockey. You can have another group of friends over here into something else. And then if you just share to them circles, only the people in those circles will see that content.
Now, will Google still index all that content?
No, that's the downside. So Google only index public content, which makes sense.
Okay, so to see if I've got what you said right, then I want everyone in the world to know about podcasting. Mm-hmm. And I have a group of people that are specifically interested in podcasting and following me on that. Mm-hmm. So can I share it publicly and then also share it to that circle?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. One of the things I'd probably do, though, if you want to talk on multiple topics, I would probably look at setting up a Google Plus page for each topic. Because then what it is, you can have like 3 or 4 or 5 pages. So, and then you've got the nightmare of managing them. But what that does allow you to do is a Google Plus page gets treated exactly the same as a Google Plus personal profile, in the sense that people can follow it. There's a few little restrictions, but over time, Google have been slowing them down. So that might be a solution.
Okay, so let's talk about pages, because I know you've got fan pages in Facebook, you've got groups, you've got I don't know, there's 1 or 2 other things you've got on Facebook. I don't use that much. So what you're saying is that I can have what if I've got a local business? Can I have a local business page on Google Plus?
Yeah, well, at the current moment in time, they're changing all the time, but at the current moment, time of broadcast, there's 3 types of page you can set up, essentially. There's a local page, there's a service area page, and there's a brand page. Now, a local page is for a business that has a fixed local service which people come to. A service area page is again a local page, but there's a service area. So you can, if you go to your client from the area, you can say, I travel 25, 50, 7,500 miles from my location to deliver my product. And then a brand page is not a local page. So a brand page will not get any local SEO benefit. It won't go into Google Maps.
Okay, so the first 2 that you talked to will go into Google Maps.
They'll go into Google Maps. The brand page is not a local page, so it doesn't go into the local map search. And I think it should, but it doesn't. Okay. The way around that is to have a local, what we've done is have a local page and have a brand page. But then I don't really put anything on the local page. It's just sitting there to take advantage of maps, because I mark it on SME Heroes, which is my brand page. So when you're creating if you're creating something for an international audience, you want to set up as a brand page, but you can have loads of brand pages. So one way to do it then is to create unique profiles and identities, and then what you can do is have your main page, and then you can cross promote into that, but you've got to be careful about diffusing it. But it's harder to get people to a brand page.
Why is that?
A lot of the time it's because of the name. I launched 2 pages at the same time. My personal page has nearly 6,000 followers. I can't remember. It's nearly 6,000 followers. Marketing at the same amount of time. My brand page, which is SME Heroes, has over 1,300 followers. The engagement levels are chalk and cheese. See, people like to talk to people, and they like to connect to people. So, but what you can do with a brand page is you can name it Scott and Power Podcasters and put your face up there. You just got to personalize it a little bit so that when people start interacting, because most people don't know whether they're dealing with a personal page or a brand page. But but if you don't need to, and you want to do a different subject, you might think about doing a brand page, but putting that up under your name with your profile picture, and then maybe calling it like Scott and Power Podcasters, and that way. But it's really important that you do it that way. That when you do that, if you look at SME Heroes, for instance, it is SME Heroes, but we've tried to personalize as much as possible because it's a team of people. I can't really call it Mark Timberlake SME Heroes. But that's one of the ways to do it, and there are some slight restrictions. But the advantage of a Google Plus page is this, Scott. While I remember, is a Google Plus page. If you've set up analytics, Google Analytics, YouTube Analytics, you can access all of those from your Google Plus page. So you can see all of your Google Plus activity in a snapshot on your page, which is really powerful. So you can see YouTube subscribers have gone up, Google Plus subscribers have gone up. Do you get me? Hopefully not down. Engagement levels, analytics, that can be really, really powerful.
Wow. Okay, so yeah, you've given me a lot to think about here, and I've dabbled in some pages, and it's been a confusing exercise because all of a sudden you've got I have different YouTube channels and because I've done that with YouTube, right? Like I have my Power Podcasting YouTube channel, but I've also created a couple YouTube channels for some of my clients, one of which is like a home reno guy. So obviously I don't want any of that mixing up. And then he's got his own Google Plus page through the YouTube thing. And yeah, and keeping it all straight is
one simple way of setting that up, okay, is set your Google Plus up first. Okay, so set your Google Plus, whether it's your personal profile or your brand page. Then when you go into YouTube, you're going to go there and it's going to give you the option to log in under your personal or your brand page. So if you then log in under your brand page and click Create Channel, it automatically syncs that to Google Plus.
Cool.
That's a really important tip for people. Brand page, Google Plus, then your YouTube channel. Get that up and then log in and then create your YouTube channel. And it's one step. It's really easy. Any other way, it's a nightmare.
Yeah, that's what I've kind of found. It's just like I'm having a hard time kind of keeping it straight and getting it to work properly. And then, yeah, so I wish I'd have done it the other way. Maybe I still will. So my brand page, my Google Plus local business page, my Google Plus service page are all indexed like instantaneously through Google as well.
Absolutely. There's no difference in the indexing. There's just a difference in where those results will likely be shown. One of the other things is the difference on Google Plus, and I don't know if you want to go there yet, Scott, but a difference between a personal search and a world search.
Let's talk about personal searches versus world searches.
Okay, so if this gets a little bit confusing, if you've got a Google Business Apps account, you won't see this, okay? And I've got a Business Apps account, love it, or Google for Work, I think they've just changed it to now. Love it, absolutely brilliant. But what that means, I don't get to see this in Chrome. But if you've got a normal, I have to explain that because sometimes people are like, why haven't I got it? But on the top right of Chrome, you've got two icons. One's a head and one's a world. Okay, unless you've got an apps account. If you've got an apps account, you won't see it.
Okay, so what's an apps account?
Google Business Apps is it's like a Gmail Premium.
Okay.
So you can have a free one, but a Gmail Premium, it's like all my email runs through Gmail, but it'll be market business dash photography or save me at SME Heroes. You won't know it's through Gmail. So, and I get massive storage. I get unlimited cloud storage, and for video producers like us, that's really important.
So this is a premium service of Google's?
Premium service of Google's, and then you can tie in lots of really cool apps with that. So you can do, MailChimp, Salesforce, all this stuff integrates directly in with it. Really, really powerful. So if you haven't got that, then you'll see in Chrome, when you do a normal search, on the top right you'll see an icon with a head and an icon with a world. Now, the icon with a world, that's a normal search. Okay? That's a completely normal search. But when you have the head search, that is a personalized search. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Really interesting. Because when you do a search with the world icon, you're just going to get a normal, this is a normal SEO value proposition search engine. But when you've got the personalized search clicked, you're now getting personalized search results. And I'll explain how that works in a minute. Now, by default, the browser will be selected to personalize results, and most people don't even know those buttons are there. Okay, so you're logged into a personal search. Here's what's interesting. Let's say, Scott, you've got your Power Podcasters, and let's just say there's a friend of mine, doesn't know you, is not connected to you on Google+, but they're connected to me and they're interested in podcasting. Okay, they'll search for podcasting. Google will change the results and they'll say, this is the way they'll look at it. This guy's interested in podcasting. He's connected to Mark, who's connected to Scott. There's a common bond there, and therefore, let's show him Scott's content.
Wow.
Okay. So what that means is the more connections you have on Google+, the more you can impact that personal search, which most people don't know they're in. And that's an aspect of what we call Google semantic search. We don't have to get into that really complex, but basically personalized research. So you do a search, you'll see. If you haven't got many followers on Google+, you're not active, you won't see much. But if people are on Google+ and they start doing personalized search and they've got, maybe a 1 or a first level or second level or third level connection, your content has a higher chance of coming up in their search stream.
Wow, so that's a really good reason to be into Google+.
Yeah, and create lots of connections with a niche target audience. And here's what happens. Let me give you a practical example of this. There's a local networking event, and they teach social media marketing. So they search for something on Google, and they're logged in, and it's something quiet thing. And boom, first result, I wasn't there, but first result, a friend of mine was, and he told me afterwards because he understood it because I taught him how this works. And the first result was me, one of my posts on Google+. And everyone in that room, they're like, wow, that's Mark. And you see what happened? He was logged in and he was connected to me. So when he searched for that subject, my content got preference because Google said, oh, you want this, but did you know Mark's talking about this? And you know Mark, so I'm going to put this at the top for you.
Right. Yeah, who would be more authoritative, more of an authority than your friends on the topic?
Exactly, and that's the way, this personalized search, and it changes all the time. We don't know what Google's tinkering with and stuff, but that's what they want. They want to deliver personalized results. So
now, the Chrome browser is the one that you're talking about, and that's Google's browser. And I can remember when Netscape and Internet Explorer were like fighting to be who's going to be above and everything else. And I think it's kind of all over. Nobody even talks about it anymore because Chrome is the leader in terms of, well, Firefox and Chrome are probably the two biggest browsers. So I actually have my Chrome open. I'm I'm logged into my Gmail in Chrome, so I opened up the Google search browser, and I'm just trying to see where that head in that world is. I can see my head.
What it is, are you got Google search in front of you?
Yes, so I can search for Google or type a URL in.
Yeah, it should be in the top right. I can't see it because I've got an apps account, and I would need to.
Top right, yeah, that's what I thought you would say. So I see my name plus Scott, then I have Gmail, images, apps. Oh, maybe I've got apps are like Google Plus, Search, YouTube, Maps, Play, News, and then I've got my Google Plus notifications. Then I have a plus with a. Oh, this is to share. Oh, I can share a page
from the top there, yeah.
But And then there's just me logging in or adding an account.
Yeah, unfortunately I can't see it because I can't access, and I'm on the new MacBook and I'm new to this. I don't know on a PC. I'd know how to bring up an incognito and check this.
Oh, right.
But I can't do it on the
file incognito window. I've gone incognito.
Okay, but then you need to log in. But you do need to log into an account to have this because it's a logged-in search. Does that make sense?
Right, and then so I did actually put google.com and I went to one account, sign in. So yeah. I'm going to sign into my account. Because what I'll do is take a screenshot and put it on the replay of this. Hope I can remember my password. Nope.
I'm just seeing if I can. I've got a dummy account, but I don't know the login. Let's see if I can get to that.
No.
Sign in.
But if you go up to the Chrome file, then it says new incognito window.
Yeah, I've got that. I'm just seeing if this will bring it up for me. Okay, so.
Regardless, what you said is...
so I've just got it and I'm up.
Do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, so let me just come back to... Okay, let me just... How did I do this last time? Just bear with me, folks. I'm getting used to a Mac because I'm using a PC and a Mac at the same time. I've got...
Oh, you're bilingual.
Yeah, well, I'm very clumsy bilingual at the moment. So let me just do a screen share. Okay, let's just screen share. Okay, I'm just going to bring that up. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, and I'm just going to make you present to everybody so it hopefully won't change when I talk. Are you talking?
Okay. Can you hear me, Scott?
I can hear you and I can see.
Okay. So can you see up here?
Yeah.
Them two little things. One. This one is that's the global search. That's the local search. As you can see, that's on by default.
Yes.
Okay. So that little bit of magic there means you're going to get personalized search results, and that is default. If you haven't got a Google Business Apps, for some reason it doesn't do it on a Business Apps account. It must be a privacy thing because it's a business. I don't know, but that's what it looks like.
Very, very cool.
Okay.
Neat. Well, we're getting kind of near the end of our time together, and it's been a fascinating discussion as usual, Mark. I really enjoy our chats. But tell us a little bit about your course.
What I've got at the moment is I've got a Google Plus for local businesses course. So this shows people, if you've got a local business, how to use it to impact and affect Maps search results.
Okay.
Now, obviously, if you're using Google Plus as a brand page, it's not completely applicable, but a lot of the stuff I've just shared in here, obviously much more information in the course, is in there. So you can use it in that respect. And then, but I'm really wanted to concentrate on helping local businesses on that course. But that's primarily what it's about. So that's.
So based on what we've talked about, I'm a local business.
Mm-hmm.
I can create a circle of my best clients,
Mm-hmm.
or the type of people that are interested in my type of business.
Mm-hmm.
I can then market it, and the chances are, I mean, who doesn't have Gmail, right? The chances
Mm-hmm.
are a large percentage of those people are going to have Gmail, and then when they do searches to find my types of information, right,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be appearing more because they or their friends are connected to me somehow.
Absolutely.
And that's just a brilliant way of getting your information out.
Yeah, but you have to put good quality content out there. It's not a shortcut. It's not a trick. You've got to put good stuff out there in your niche area of expertise. Get it on Google+, get it indexed, because Google got to have something to index. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, what you have to do before you do any of this, because we're just giving you the broad strokes, is you have to take the course.
Absolutely.
And you take the course, so you've got a good foundation of knowing what you're doing, and you don't go and screw it up. I mean, that's the key. And
yeah, just to explain, it took me a year to develop that course, basically, because it was a year's worth of me going on Google Plus and seeing what happened and seeing what worked. And I've got a business called SME Heroes, which is we launched about 18 months ago. It's a specific brand. It helps people with their online marketing. And the only method I used to promote that was YouTube, Google Plus. That's all I used. No backlinking, nothing. YouTube, Google Plus. And so SME Heroes, people say, well, that's not competitive. That's really easy to get to the top. But SME Heroes is actually a Google project where they help entrepreneurship in third world countries. So I am actually competing directly against Google for SME Heroes. And in the first few months, I was on page 7, 6, 5. But using these principles, fine-tuning them, I'm top now. I'm number 1. I'm embedded. And I've got all my profiles there now. It's boom, boom. It's SME Heroes, LinkedIn, Twitter, Google+, Facebook. Everything is there. It's all showing up. But the reason, one of the things I did, because I use that, I started getting my content indexed really quickly. So even though my SME Heroes homepage wasn't showing, I had blog posts starting to appear on page 1 and page 2. And then what happened over time was as my website gained more authority, because it was a new one, it replaced them. But it got me in the thing first. In fact, using this principle of YouTube and Google Plus, really, I want to share this if you've got time, Scott.
You bet.
I had a client literally sit down when we recorded a video, and she sat, and we'd edited the video, and she sat down. We sat down, and she said, "Can you put this on YouTube for me, because I won't know how to do this?" Okay. So I put it on there. I put it on YouTube, Google Plus post, and we did a search for her competitive term. Page 1.
Wow.
And that was a local search, but it was page 1. And there was her video. And literally it'd been, are you with me?
Yes.
Turn, did a search, she was sitting there, did a search, and you should have seen her. She was like, wow. And people don't realize the power of that, so hopefully people realize now how important Google Plus is for local businesses. You do have to do content marketing, you do have to do good social media marketing, but if you do it and you put the time in, you will dominate search. And now when people are looking for you, there's never any guarantees because you don't know who you're competing against, but the general principle is, you're going to compete, you're going to do well in search, and when people are looking for your services, they'll be able to find you. They're pre-qualified, and if you get all that, you'll understand Google Plus.
Right. Yeah. What you just shared there, I think, is absolutely brilliant, because first of all, nobody is really doing it, and depending on your area of expertise, whether you're an author, coach type of person, whether you've got a brick and mortar business, whether you've got some sort of service, it doesn't really matter. The number of people in your industry that know what Mark just shared is probably less than 1%. And
not even that, Scott.
Not even that. And so here, here's a very simple plan. You get your Google Plus pages set up, you get your YouTube channel set up, you talk intelligently about whatever it is, you get it transcribed, turn it into some textual content, and you post a lot of that stuff on your blog with a little, if it's 7 steps to, step 1, 2, 3 is in your Google Plus and your social media, and go back to your blog for 5, 6, 7, and however many others there may be.
And when you start seeing all these things, you realize how powerful Google Plus is. So, for me, as you can imagine, look, we've just had a conversation, for over 3/4 an hour to get this point across. It's hard to explain it to sometimes people, because you can't explain it in a couple of minutes. It's not like, right. I'll post on Facebook.
You can't tweet this stuff.
No, but once you get it, it's incredible. And, so when people look at me as a marketing company, on my social media marketing, I'm a marketing company, yet you will see that I am Google Plus heavy.
Yes.
And people will say, well, what about Facebook? What about Twitter? And I'm not worried about them, because I want to be found in Google search, and that's the way I think. Right.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy day, Mark, to join us and share these fascinating strategies and your deep knowledge of Google Plus. And hopefully, everybody listening to this is going to take advantage of Mark's knowledge and what you've learned now. And I really strongly recommend that you get into this deeper. And if you look down here, there's a link, www.powerpodcasters.com/Google Plus. Mark has been generous enough to give us a coupon to his course on Udemy, and I'll have it in the description below, but it's right here. If for some reason you don't see a description below, type that in, go there. It's an amazing course. It's not like 20 hours and you're not going to get an MBA in Google Plus and you don't need it, but it's just going to give you the straight goods, exactly what to do, follow those things, and watch the results that you're going to get, because they've been phenomenal for me and for Mark's clients. And I'm really excited because I have a few local clients. I'm going to be using this more, because some of the stuff you said today has just been absolutely incredible, and I'm really excited.
One of the things that I wanted to do when I produced the course is I wanted people to be able to take this and go and earn money from it. So this is designed for marketers, really. It's designed for small business owners that want it, but I wanted people to actually make money from this. I wanted to show them how they can offer this as a service to people, set people's Google Plus page up, maybe do content management, content creation for companies, and get results. And then, charge for that. So, I'm hoping by the time they, take the course, and obviously there is a special offer on the course, which Scott has asked me for, which I've given, but by the time they take the course, they should come out the other end, not straight away, but you need to go and do it yourself and prove to yourself that you can do it. Get yourself going on Google Plus, and then offer that service out there.
Wonderful. All right. My mind has been a little bit blown. Mark, thank you very much for joining us and for sharing everything that you shared so generously. And I really want to emphasize the importance of continuing education. The course is not long. I think it's an hour or just under an hour. The lectures are well produced. Mark is an excellent speaker. The content is really, really good. I took a lot of notes. I expect you'll take a lot of notes. And I really recommend that you head over there and start as fast as possible, because this can make a huge difference to your business. And I didn't realize it was for people who wanted to have a business of doing this, but so if you've got if you've got your own business, great. If you want to help other people in marketing, wonderful. Doesn't matter. The content is excellent. So once again, Mark, thank you very much. And do you have one last tip that you'd like to leave everybody with?
Yeah, it's called the law of critical mass in marketing, especially online marketing, and it's this: get a snowball, and you're at the top of a hill, And then you have to, at the beginning, you have to push that snowball, and and eventually that snowball starts to get large. Eventually, it's large enough that it creates its own weight and starts to roll down the hill of its own mass. And all you have to do now is steer it. Whenever you do any online marketing, that's the mentality you've got to have. This is not for sprinters. It doesn't work for sprinters. This is long distance runners that always make this type of marketing technique work. Don't expect to be in 6 weeks from now. You've got to commit to 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. By the time you get to 12 months, you do this properly. By the time you get to 12 months, you'll be seriously impacting search for your key stuff. Now, you've got to be careful you're not trying to compete with the big guys that have been out there 7 years on a national search. We're not talking about that. We're talking about niche content, maybe locally, maybe specialized. You've got to pick the right area. But if you use this stuff, eventually what happens is you produce so much content, you don't have to keep producing it, just a little bit every now and again to nudge the snowball along. And then it just starts working of its own, and it keeps rolling down that hill. So I wanted to encourage people that this is not a lifelong commitment. This is a specific technique and strategy. Like most things on the internet, you have to push it along at first, and it doesn't look that special at the beginning, but eventually if you stick at it, you'll have this massive snowball, and eventually you might even get an avalanche.
Wonderful. That's a great analogy. I love it, Mark. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This is Scott Patton, the Dean of Blogonomics and Podology, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.